The woman suddenly realized that her 1-month-old daughter was being cooked in a pot by her husband. Her tiny hands were still boiling in the hot water. The woman ignored the burns crawling on the floor, desperately searching. But at that moment, her husband appeared behind her, holding the daughter. Seeing his wife's sudden madness, he quickly rushed over to rinse her with cold water, then ran to the fridge to grab some ice cubes. The wife, however, lifted the scalding iron pot. Mary was a young woman awaiting childbirth, deeply in love with her husband John. When they got married, they made a special plaque together, but this happiness was soon shattered by an unexpected event. That night, Mary woke up from her sleep. She saw John sitting up at the head of the bed, perfectly still. Suddenly, she heard the sound of a door opening from outside, but no matter what, John wouldn't wake up. Mary grabbed the power drill from the house, gathered her courage, and slowly made her way to the balcony. It turned out that John's slippers had gotten stuck in the door gap, making an eerie sound when the wind blew. Suddenly, she heard a scraping sound beside her. But John was still fast asleep, unaware that this was just the beginning of the nightmare. The next day, John knew nothing about what had happened the night before. After breakfast, he hurriedly left the house. Mary also planned to go for a walk, but when she opened the door, there was a loud thud. It was Aunt Wong from downstairs holding a piece of cake. She finally spoke up. For the past few days, strange noises have been coming from the roof, sometimes accompanied by the sound of a woman screaming.
그건 어제 제가 근데 앞으로는 그런 일 절대 없을 거예요. 진짜 죄송합니다. 이래서
That night, strange things happened again. As usual, John fell straight into bed and started scratching himself, scratching his face until it turned bright red.
그만.
But the more Mary stopped him, the harder John scratched. Mary had no choice but to intervene again, turning off the bedside light and going to sleep. The next morning, the sight before her made her scalp tingle. John's face was bloodied and mangled. Mary hurriedly grabbed some ointment and suggested he go to the hospital, but John refused, citing work as an excuse. While tidying up the room, she suddenly noticed bloodstains on the floor leading all the way under the bed. The dog, Pepper, was curled up in the corner, refusing to come out. Fear gripped Mary's heart. She began to worry that John might do something even worse in his sleep, or even hurt their unborn child. So she stayed up late watching her husband sleep. To ensure everything was fine, she even put cotton gloves on John's hands. But then she saw him suddenly get up and head toward the kitchen. Mary dared not make a sound, but quietly followed behind him. What happened next would haunt her for the rest of her life.
오빠. 오빠 잠깐.
Mary leaned over the sink, vomiting uncontrollably. At that moment, John came to her side, turned on the cold water at the sink. His cold, empty stare sent chills down her spine. In that moment, John seemed more like a monster possessed by an evil spirit. After eating and drinking, John glanced at Pepper, then turned and went back to their room. But what happened next shattered Mary's understanding of the world.
오빠.